then, we can talk about how it is right now and then what we propose to do to get that started. And, like I say, for the county, it's maintain, repair, and construction of roads, streets, bridges, and sidewalks. And, water, and then capital outlay.
That's what we got currently.
This,
Yeah.
that's current.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing now. So, anything we need to talk about adding to it, or I'd say I think we need to go ahead and, add some, one section there for, recreation, public safety facility, public service equipment, and then maintenance, repair, and construction of roads, streets, and bridges, and sidewalks. Any, and right.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just going over the percentage. The current is 68.1 for the county, 10% water, 10% capital outlay, and preliminary numbers. And then you 65% for maintenance, roads and bridges, water 4.1%, and recreation 7%. And public safety facilities, public service equipment, 12%. Any discussion on that? Talk about.
What, under the public safety and facilities, and public service equipment, what all can that money be used for? As far as building wise?
It can be used for any public safety facility, whether it be a jail or a fire station or anything, as long as it has to do with public safety. Equipment can be fire trucks, ambulances, patrol cars, anything of that nature.
Use splosh figure you put on that, pre-existing, like fire station.
The way I understand the law, and I'd have to get with Lynn on this, because when you read it, it reads like that if you don't have debt incurred on a particular project, you can't bind a SPLOST over to that same project. So like our fire station, for example, if we're not completely finished with it by the time this new SPLOST goes into place, but yet we still have money to spend on it, I do not think we can go ahead with it on the new SPLOST. It would have to come out of our general fund account. That's what the purpose of identifying your projects and the approximate cost, so that you can see what cost it could be, and if there's going to be debt incurred, you can bind debt over from one SPLOST to another, but you can't bind projects over. Does that make any sense? Is that the way you understand it, Lynn?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways around that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, say you're doing let's use the fire station. If you had enough funds either on hand or under the existing SPLOST to do maybe the area where the crews would be living and the pavement, but not the bays where the other half of the building, you can designate it in phases.
In phases, yeah.
So if you did like phase 1 and you did X, Y, Z, and then in your next phase you put it at X, Y, Z. But if you don't, we're kind of fortunate in where we are in that particular project relative to the SPLOST that you could designate it in phases. But it would have to be something like that where you knew that that's where you need to be and where you needed to go.
Right. Because there's I've been just asking people, what are the biggest problems? We all know we have a parking issue here at the courthouse.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to think of all different alternative means. I mean, we talked about parking decks. We talked about trying to do something to move the library out of here. I mean, we talked about every different avenue. There's one that we haven't talked about, I would like to just propose it, y'all, let you think about it. And it would be directly related to a future SPOS. Most people that I talk to that come to the courthouse, the ones that aren't in trouble, are here to pay taxes, usually. Okay? They usually come once or twice a year. Or, you know, people that come to meetings, or to whether, and I've tried asking around with other entities, other counties, and see how they handle some of their problems. Because most all courthouses are kind of like this one, located in a central area. And what I find that most of them are doing, and I think it's something we need to think about, is they have administrative business. And what that means is, your people who come to do business and pay their taxes, or do their everyday county work, or your commissioner's offices, the meeting rooms, a lot of them have their water departments in there, and the ones that have sewer have their sewer. In other words, you know, we're talking about probably a department that, I'm guessing $1 million, $2 million
At least.
for a parking deck, for one of them. Did we ever get any preliminary numbers on it?
You're on, mill pad. What that would do, the model set over there with one level, you probably get 30 cars underneath, 30 cars on top, plus you move the 911 people out, and there's 12 spaces across the street. So you'd probably pick up 70 plus spaces, and that would alleviate some of the problem.
But are we guaranteed though that they will be for the courthouse spaces?
Yeah.
You could designate through your business hours that it's courthouse parking only, but after hours.
I mean, that's just something I think, if y'all would think about it, I mean, a lot of the business people come here to do, pay their taxes, buy tags.
Well, if you see
They do a lot of business here other than come to court.
Right, other counties do have admin buildings where you don't have the security, you have to worry about going through, and you don't have all that. They go in and pay their taxes, or they go to see the commissioners, or they go to do this or that, big county. And that's what they, even you, or even Gilbert counties, admin guys on the other side of the outside of it, they're courthouses.
In Union County, they're separate.
And they're separate.
Because it's a recurring problem with everyone situated in one central location. I think, and as we're growing, we're gonna have to think more seriously about what we are gonna do with parking. Right now, it's a nightmare, there's 40. I usually park at First Baptist and walk over, because there's really, there is no parking. I would just like to throw that out on the table for everyone to hear. It is a different avenue to relieve some of the congestion for the people that are just coming here to do business, pay their taxes, get their tags, land development. I mean, we think about all the things that are housed downstairs in the courthouse right now. We got land development, tax commissioner's office, commissioner's office,
Assessors.
assessors. And if we think of all that traffic that people are coming in here to do business on top of the court, we just need, I think we would need to look into it to see what a cost-effective way of maybe an additional administration building somewhere that's not so congested, where we can actually have parking versus $2 million in a parking ticket that we know we're gonna outgrow, simply because we're still gonna be having court here. No matter what, court's gonna be held here in this courthouse. I just think it's an idea that y'all could roll around. It's not the end-all fix, but it could, we're talking about future spots here. I think it's something we need to look ahead, try and be proactive.
And that would be something that we should look at, to put a number on, to factor it into our number for our overall SPOS projects. What would that cost over the period of time, and what priority would that be? Would that be, that's gonna be a top priority, and how much money is it gonna cost? And let's put that into, our pyramid of what's gonna come for the next 5 to 6 years.
think it'd be a good idea for all of us to think about getting into a place of the county that's not so congested and that's not so.
I know, I wonder if, the Dan, the sheriff, has spoke to y'all about the jail up there, and I mean, they're getting where they're busting at the seams too, and looking at possibly in the future, I mean, probably not close to the near future, but there are gonna be some, at some point or another, where they're gonna have to
Well, they're
probably
running capacity now. They got
revamp the
85.
jail up there and make it bigger and more suitable for help patients that are, or patients that are, not patients, but prisoners that come in with health problems and different stuff like that. That they have to have a segregated place and different things. It might be a better scenario if we were in an admin building where they could possibly utilize part of this building or something.
I would just like to see what the cost differential would be between parking decks and getting completely out of the mix of trying to.
We need to locate something in, a pre-existing building if there's one available to get into.
There,
Just
and
enough
see,
time.
that's a possibility, I don't know,
What?
building, and a building that's already out there.
Pre-existing building that's out there, yep. Something that, cause there's a lot of empty buildings, I know there's a lot of these other counties have what they call a satellite office that they can get their tags and get their, like Earl was talking about, doing the business and there, and they found there's something available.
Well, people even come and get building permits. I mean,
Yeah,
say,
that's what I'm
hey,
saying.
wherever they park, it's usually 10 minutes to walk. You know, so it's a lot of, it's the biggest
How that would go on.
complaint I hear about, you know. People come here and pay taxes a lot more, hopefully, than they come to court. So, I mean, that's my 10 cents worth, so. Or obtain building permits, or city tax assessor's office, or whatever. I'm pretty sure we're strapped for room in their office too, or we're not.
In tax assessor?
Yes. And then we have to add cubicles.
We had, yeah, they're probably not as big, there two or three of them are having to work because of the offices we had to put in.
Well, we took one
Department of
to make
Revenue,
two.
So, yeah, took one to make two.
So that's what 10 cents worth on that. A lot better or I did, if you don't mind rolling around, and, the water, I'd like to be able to talk to some of those board members to see, exactly how they, what their plans are in the future, and what they feel like they need. The public safety facilities, I mean, that would be great to be able to cover some of those costs with, some of the SPOS money, because that's another thing, a lot of the SPOS money is spent, is collected, is from people that are here as tourists, but we still have to protect them, we still have to provide them with medical care. So, I think it's not a bad idea if that's over there.
Most of our equipment is getting frazzled as new as since we've voted it in for ambulance and stuff. And I mean, it's just, as many calls, it's just wore out the time it's one year to the next. This public safety situation is more, seems like, realized.
So that money can be used for any facility or equipment, the way the public safety.
Also, I mean, if you think about it through the back doorway of it, if you alleviate and put this on the SPOS and you alleviate those funds coming out of the general fund, that will free up some of our general fund money to be utilized on other,
we all agree that we have to do something, either whether it's parking here,
We got
or
to,
maybe
yeah.
another facility is not, is needed.
Got to be done. And I think what you come up with is a great idea to do. You know, like I said, there's pre-existing places that, take down the, next Daniels down there. It may sound like a little far out, away from this building, but we don't want to come to this building to do that. You know, I don't know what kind of space is available down there, or what kind of renting would be, or whatever it might be. Are we talking about building something, talking about renting something? What are we talking here?
That's what I'm saying, y'all think about it, let me know how you feel about it. I'm just throwing the idea out there.
I think it could be looked at from every aspect, whether it's a purchase or a land purchase to build, or, it could be looked at every aspect, just to see what kind of best price.
I mean, wherever it is, it needs to be convenient for everyone, so it has to be centrally
Let's be
located.
good, centrally located, but there needs to be some parking at least, you know, around it, because that's something that we don't have anymore around here.
And whatever it is, needs to be big enough to house land development. We've had to go through every department, it would have to house. Basically, the administration bill, which would be the taxes, land development, commissioner's office. Tax assessor, I mean, I guess they can, I don't know how they, I guess we need to talk to them to see how they feel about.
I think they would probably love it.
Oh, you talk about moving these and out of the building completely now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, what, as far as the tax inspector's office, they've got a vault down there, they have to have, they've got a vault.
Well, we have a lot too, so, yeah, but that's,
I mean, we work all those details, I'm just throwing the idea out there
yeah.
of a fix for our parking. We're not growing any more land around this courthouse.
No, that's true.
The only way we can grow it is up, and I think we all know how much it's gonna cost to grow the parking on Lebanon. So, I think more than, because we're talking about the future, we're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about 3 or 4 years down the road. What is the parking gonna be like in 3 or 4 more years? It's already, since I've served for 4 years, it's already a lot different. And I don't see it getting any less, so. I just thought I'd share that idea with you, because the most concerns I have are from taxpayers who just come here to pay their taxes, go to the land development office, or see the commissioner, or, they say, we hate fighting that much traffic and walking that far to pay my taxes. And so in talking to other commissioners, to sum my story up, they said, well, what they wound up doing was administration doing, moving all that out of their courthouse, like the courthouse business.
Anybody wants to comment on this? Hey, Joe.
First thing I want to say is thank you for having this discussion, and then thank you for allowing public comments. I think it's very clear we need a capital plan. It is under one of the 19 things that we allow the post commissioners and y'all to do as whole. As we're talking about 65% of our money going to roads again, I would suggest we look at the T-splosh. Last year, they passed House Bill 170, which allows us to actually do a splosh just for transportation. And I would suggest we look at that as an avenue. We do need basically the road list. Years ago, Commissioner Johnson said that he could help us from his business in looking at the roads we have to pave and about how much that might cost us. But I would imagine there's probably $20, $30, $40 million worth of road paving left in Fannin County. More? Easily, yeah. So one of my thoughts is we ought to be looking at T-splosh, which is directly aimed at roads, and use that avenue. Then we can look at the other splosh, for our other capital needs. Very clearly, I would like to hear what the business plan is for the water authority needing their percentage. It was mentioned that certain citizens don't use the library and therefore they wouldn't support a splosh to the library. Well, I can guarantee you personally that water, county water, will never get to my house in Dial. Never will. Neither will sewer. And that said, as we look at water in the immediate future, there are probably 22,000 citizens who aren't going to get water. Yet as a citizen, I want water in the county. I want it for commercial reasons. I want 10-inch pipes going down the 4-lane, etc. If we're going to do 7% recreation, we need to know what that is. Again, the state law would require us to have actual projects within that. I would like to suggest that we look at capitalizing some recreation projects in the south part of the county. Anyone in Dial has to drive 45 minutes before you get to the first county recreational facility. As we look at capital projects on the Shallowford Bridge, I know the state's going to give us $2 million or so for that, but I know there's going to be a county portion of that. I would hope we're identifying that and perhaps looking for recreational opportunities around the Shallowford Bridge build out to the Rapids area that the county picked up a little while back. There are lots of recreational opportunities for passive recreation, for parks, for water things in the south part of the county, and quite frankly, a river walk might be a nice idea for a short period. There are lots of areas in the country that have done a lot with their nature. We're not unique in having nature. So as we look at our capitalization, I encourage us to look at the T-Splosh for our roads. That's a completely separate fund. We could have 100% of the regular splosh for other capital. We could actually come back next spring and have a special election for the regular splosh if we have an appropriate capital list. But we do need to put items to capital. General capital does not work according to the state, and we need to do better this time. Thank you.
Joe, anyone else? Anyone else? I guess not. Okay, we'll look into that and see what we can come up with on satellite offices for certain activities.
I think it'd be worth a while to look into it. It'd make a lot out here.
Okay.
Good idea.
If you don't mind, talk to the tax assessor and find out how all of them feel about it. 'Cause I know from the taxpayers I spoke to, they just won't be able to get in, either get their tags, pay their taxes, leave.
Get out.
So that's my concern out here.
Okay.
I know some of the counties down south, when we were in school last time, they had, the satellite areas that they had in one position, and they still had some working out the courthouse as well. You know, kinda like the bank here, had got one main book, you know, places you could go and get to pick up for the convenience of the people.
Well, Union County's got satellites too. All right. Nobody else got anything to say? We'll move on to a regular meeting then.
What about those TVA buildings? Where are we with that? Those buildings out of the lake, would those be feasible to use as satellite offices? Or, since we already sort of have those in our possession, don't we, as a lease?
I don't think what we've talked about that is not satellite offices type thing, and we're gonna try to do them with the recreation part.
Well, I think it would be wise to look at, this may not be in the right forum or the right place to mention this, but there are a lot of needs in the county, and that administration building may be one of them, but we have the need for the library, we have the need for a new animal control building. We're in dire straits in both the library position and also the animal control building. So could we not do a complex somewhere, buy property and maybe use it for more than just one purpose? Because Mr. Johnson, the people I talk to say that they think that animal control building is pretty inadequate for our county. And you all know what the people about the library have said. So maybe could we work it so we could get a, you know, put several things together and not just one?
We probably could, if you don't mind me responding, but there are a lot more people that pay taxes and buy tags that go to animal control or to the library, because everybody, no matter what you like or don't like, has to come pay taxes.
Right, a lot of
That would be
taxes
my
are
response,
paid.
is everyone has to do that. Not everyone has to go to the animal control, not everyone has to go to the library. So, I mean, I understand that people, whatever it is you do every day, that's exactly the people you're gonna hear from. But, you know, I know what any taxpayer says, they don't want to have to walk 2 or 3 blocks to pay their taxes. So that's my response to that.
And my response to that is that not everyone comes to the courthouse to pay their taxes. A lot of people do it via mail and online, I presume. Certainly by mail.
I'm sure,
But,
if that,
I
I'm
don't
sure
want
they
to argue,
still
but I'm
do.
just hoping that at some point we can look at the big picture and not just Band-Aid, you know, and let's look at the Mississippi County as a big picture case.
Can I say something, just one little thing, because I think, I kind of alluded to it a little bit ago, and I think it will help when, in Jan's, in your mind too, well, because this will alleviate whether it's public safety or roads and bridges or whatever that this lost money, at the end of the day, these guys decide to spend the money on, especially if we bring public safety into it and recreation into it. That's going to alleviate a lot of our general funds to be used elsewhere, where possibly you could refurbish animal control, or you could, I mean, these monies could be.
Animal control is public safety, correct?
And
I mean, so
that could,
even under public
it could be
safety,
categorized as.
I mean, I feel like, just so you know, Jan, and I spoke to Mr. Patterson and Mr. Druder, I think there needs to be an addition down there to where that truck's not in there with those animals. Okay, but the first thing we gotta do, we gotta get the funds to do that. Because I think it's completely wrong the way we have to do things with that truck in there, okay? So I'm thinking, if we're gonna add on, if we're gonna do anything in animal control, we need to come like a sally port, like it's over here. I think when they come in with an animal, whether it's a nice animal, whether it's a mean animal, whatever kind of animal it is, they have room to work with that animal without 30 other, or however many other animals are in there barking, and, I mean, because I understand animals, I have animals, and they get excited, and they get, so trying to work in those conditions, I think we need to update that, and this is a perfect opportunity for us to do it, if everyone would agree, with some of the funds from public safety, if they were available, or from the general fund. I mean, I feel like we all know that we need something different than animal control. Whether we agree when or not, we need something different down there. So it is on my mind, Missy, and I do think about it, because I don't like the way it happens right now. So, but there's only so many funds we have right now, and that's why.
And it's the prioritization of what we have to do here, so that, in order to get the loss and put it on the ballot correctly.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open a regular meeting, and let's do the pledge only tonight.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 2, approve the minutes of the May 10th regular meeting and the minutes of the June 2nd call meeting. We'll go to the pledge.
I've looked them over, I've been here for a while, I've looked them over, I like most of it.
Have a motion, I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number 3, your invoice over 4,500. You guys have a chance to look those over.
That's what I've been sitting here doing. Here, Mr. Susie, okay.
Fitz at Amber Ridge Road and Stewart Mountain subdivision, placed at 35 foot from the center line of the road instead of 55. And where this is, that's probably about a 10-mile-an-hour road, so I'll say that,
Yeah, I looked at it, I don't have a problem with that one, you know.
I make a motion we approve this variance from Nathan Fitz. Do I hear a second?
Second motion.
Item number 5, variance request from Jeffrey and Patty Runehaber out on Wildwood Trail, and they want to build from 25 foot from the center line of Wildwood Trail, and that's what it is. It's a trail.
It's a trail.
Anyway, so I don't see any problem with that either, so I make a motion we approve that.
Second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
I on the last
I
one.
started to say, can you,
I on the last
I thought you-
if you didn't
one.
call,
I didn't.
you didn't call for a full vote on the last one.
Sorry.
I'm in agreement.
Sorry about that. Okay, item number 6, vote to approve the L3 communication maintenance contract. It's the X-ray equipment in the lobby. Any discussion on that?
Done for me.
Yeah.
So we gotta have it.
I make a motion and we approve that level 3 communication maintenance contract. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Vote to continue as physical agent for the Family Connections. I hear a motion to continue to be their physical agent.
What all we have to do for them right now?
We got, they email, they wire us money, the state, we act as their intermediary basically for state funds, they can't get it otherwise, so we ask as the fiscal agent, and then we receive
Go
state
for it.
funding, we're in the between.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, hear a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Vote to reappoint Mayor Donna Whitener to Highlands River Board of Directors. Do I hear a motion to appoint the mayor to Highlands River Board of Directors?
Does Donna want to? I mean, she does. No problem, she wants
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second. You want a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And I'll.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Number 9, vote to reappoint John Chastain and George Slusher to the Development Authority Board. Do I have a motion to appoint these 2 gentlemen to the Development Authority Board?
They've been both notified.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
to. Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Item number 10, award the bid for convenience centers and transfer station for solid waste and recycle services. Do I hear any discussion on this?
Thank you, I guess. This is the only one that I received.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't open that box. I'm gonna go out there. Ticket?
I'll get over it. Thank you.
I think I've ever quite seen a bid like that.
That's what's in it,
That's what I'm saying.
Dawson, you look this contract over?
No, I mean, y'all just go with it.
So I make a motion, we table this so our attorney can look at it. There's a lot of fine print.
Have a motion, I hear a second.
Second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Never know what we might have seen around here.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public commentary. You want to start that, Joe?
I guess the first thing I'll ask is relative to this bid. We only got one bid in, I guess, from the bid process for, this is the dump, the waste center. And I guess I'll ask the question, is there time deadlines? I know we missed a deadline before, so by tabling this, are we gonna override some decision deadline, or do we have time for this to be reviewed before we'll implement? Good. Tonight, I'd like to take a simple moment to recognize that John Mullinex is not sitting there tonight, and have a moment of silence. Party for a single document county charter, so we could have a single document we could all look at and know what the rules are. We've debated the county charter now going on for 7 years. When Commissioner Soseby was first elected, that was the first thing we did for the first month, was debate the charter. It's a fairly simple request to have a single document. It's not that complicated. I took about 15 hours myself, took all the laws from about 1924, and really did a cut and paste version of it. So I know it can be done. And it would seem to me that that's a very simple request, to have a single document county charter. It seems also a simple request that we follow that charter and have an annual plan, a statement and a narrative of what the budget is and what we're intending to do with our money. That was written in the county charter in 1975 and hasn't changed. These are two very, very, very simple things. A single charter in one document and actually following the rules for public planning and having a plan. And I say it's a shame that it took 2 years and we haven't done this, and John did not live to see those results. It makes you wonder as a citizen someday why John missed all those meals that they talked about at his funeral, why John kept working towards something that didn't happen. So again, I think as we look forward, we need to look at citizen input and the fact that there are people who wanted the library 20 years ago that are dead. There are people who wanted a single charter. They're now dead. We're dying. Please fix these things.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? Mr. Arnold.
I read here just this past week where a new scandal involving misappropriation of taxpayer funds has been exposed. And in the June 2nd issue of the Fannin Focus newspaper, it is reported that a select few of county road department and barn employees have been receiving overtime pay for hours they have not actually worked. After a review of 3 recent months of paychecks given to all the employees at the county barn, the Focus discovered timesheets submitted by a half-dozen employees that carried extremely high amounts of vacation hours for which the county has paid time and a half overtime wages. The Focus goes on to report that Georgia state law clearly disallows the use of vacation hours for overtime pay, and points out that our county charter states that an employee's vacation time cannot be bought by the county. After reviewing just 3 months of paychecks paid to road and barn employees, the Focus discovered that tens of thousands of unearned taxpayer dollars had been doled out to a select half dozen or so employees. When the Focus publisher, Mark Thomason, picked up the payroll copies he had requested under open records, he asked Financial Director Rita Kirby about the overpayments. Ms. Kirby acknowledged truthfully that she had been aware of the overpayments, but was instructed by her superiors to continue paying the select individuals. I've got a couple questions. I asked Commissioners Johnson and Sosby to tell us, the citizens, when they knew of this scandal and why they have not taken action about it. And I want to ask you, Ms. Kirby, to please name the superiors. It mentions more than one. There's an S on that. Who instructed you to continue authorizing illegal overpayments at taxpayers' expense. I want to remind you all that the road department was over budget by $350,000 in 2013. And it was over budget again in 2014 by $291,000. Now, last year, the road department used 75% of its budget by July, but managed somehow to wind up reporting that it had finished $35,000 under budget for the year, and that in itself raises questions. I appeal to Commissioners Johnson and Sosby to exercise the power they won last year to hire and fire county department heads. I ask you two to remove the road department heads, Philip Collis and Charlie Collins. By so doing, you will serve notice that the highly questionable money handling this county has suffered at animal control, the recreation department, and the road department will not be tolerated any longer by at least our two county post commissioners. I ask you, Mr. Sosby and Mr. Johnson, to call an executive session for the purpose of removing these road department heads. And I thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. I want to speak on that same subject to do with the road department. It goes back some time that you two post commissioners asked for the authority to hire and fire department heads with any department in the county. There was a big to-do about it, and this was the first time that thousands of dollars were spent for lawyers to give y'all that authority. So we roll on, and now we're facing this scandal. And I've been told that y'all knew about it as far back as Christmas. I would appreciate it if you'd answer that question, whether y'all knew about it that far back. If you knew about it in Christmas, instead of bringing it forward as entrusted people to handle the county's business, instead of making it look like that this is another incident where county politics comes out the biggest of politicians not doing their jobs. This should have never gone on this far. Y'all need to be ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. If Mr. Thompson had to bring this forward, we wouldn't be talking about it today. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Anyone else? Anyone else? Public commentary is closed. And I don't have anything tonight. Mr. Johnson?
You gonna go first?
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I need to sit here and ponder a minute, as y'all have that. Okay, I'm gonna start out I'm gonna answer your question, okay?
That's why I asked you.
I'm gonna answer, okay? As soon as I was let know that people were being paid overtime at the rate and the way that they were, I told Mrs. Kirby that I disagreed with it, would never agree with it, so that it be made known and of record that I was in disagreement. Did I not, Ms. Kirby?
Yes, sir.
So Commissioner Johnson's name needs to stay completely and totally out of the findings. Okay, because I can't, I'm not over writing the checks. I'm not over, I do know I have employees, they don't get to use their vacation. They don't get to use their holiday. They don't get to use any of that to accrue overtime in my company. Nor will they ever. If I choose to give them extra money, and that's my prerogative. But even then, I'm a private entity. I can give them whatever I want to give them. Okay, when it comes to government money, when it comes to taxpayer dollars, I can't be in favor of any one person getting better treatment than the other, okay? So to answer your questions, okay, before I get thrown into the mix, I was against it from the time I found out about it, okay? Does that answer, is that good enough?
No.
Oh, I absolutely, no, I knew it wouldn't be, that's why I
Well, let
asked.
me
So
ask
we
you-
go on record that no matter what I say is not gonna be good enough.
Well, why didn't you bring it forward?
What am I
mean,
gonna
you-
bring, what am
why
I
is
gonna
it a
bring
big secret
forward?
that you, Ms. Kirby,
I'm not
heard you
over
say
the-
you
I'm
didn't
not
want-
over
You're
the
over the
daily
department
employees.
head. You're over the
I'm-
department head.
I'm not gonna sit here and get in an argument.
I know because
It's
you are
over.
wrong. You are wrong.
I know, no matter what I say, Mr. Bond, with you and Mr. Garner, probably I'm still gonna be wrong. And I'm okay with that, all right? I'm okay with that. But I can tell you this, is that when I left Miss Kirby's office, it was made known that the employees don't work for me. The people who got the overtime don't work for me, Mr. Bond.
They work for your department head. That you
They
got,
do not
that y'all
work-
spent thousands of dollars to be able
They
to
do
control.
not work for me, Mr. Bond.
The department head work for
The
the
department
county.
head, absolutely.
Well, who you gonna blame?
What do you mean, who am I
Are you
gonna blame?
blaming the department head for doing
I'm
it?
still trying to find out all the facts to the whole.
Did you know
deal.
about it at Christmas?
I didn't know about it at Christmas.
When
I
did
was
you
having
find out
enjoying
about it?
Christmas.
When did you find
I
out?
can't recall the date exactly, Mr. Bond.
Would it be?
It's been a long time since Christmas.
Would you think it'd be an adequate amount of time to come to some kind of conclusion, or did you just find
I'm
out?
still trying to figure it out, Mr. Bond, and if you don't mind, I'm still gonna actively continue to try and find
I
out how it
hope
all
so.
happened.
I hope
Okay,
so.
but it is not, just so the two of you know, I'm at least giving you an answer, and you don't even respect me for that, so I could really say nothing and be just as good, but I try to answer people whether they agree with me or not. I'm still trying to find out how it all happened, just to answer the two of you, okay? You asked, I'm giving you an answer. I'm not done yet, okay? But you gotta understand, these people who were paid overtime don't work for me. So it has nothing to do with what you're trying to insinuate, that the department heads, we all know they're under the board of commissioners. And until I get through and find out from each department head how they managed to get this overtime, it's not the first time this has happened, Mr. Bond. It's not. We just gotta figure out, my main goal is for it to stop. That's my main goal as your commissioner, is for it to stop. And my whole reason in telling you, when I told Ms. Kirby, I wouldn't be in agreement with it and will never be in agreement with it, okay? That's exactly what I said to Ms. Kirby. But they still don't work for me. So I'm not gonna overstep my boundaries as a post commissioner and do something that a daily employee problem. That's a daily employee problem, not me. I don't sign off on overtime. That's not my job. Okay, so there's the answer to that question.
Who does? Who does?
B.
So,
This is the reason I wanted to go through our personnel policy and bring it up today, to get down to the bottom of it.
Well, Bill, you're not completely responsible once you change the
James,
running of the
you know-
departments to the other post commissioners. All
You
three
know,
of y'all
we're sitting here
responsible.
talking about overtime. We
All-
have overtime in this county every week. every week. Just like up here a while ago, radio, tree over the block in Bold Lane down on Highway 60.
This is $100,000 a year.
You know, we're acting like you shouldn't pay these guys any overtime at all. We put it in place that they gotta be called out of 911 center. We did put that in place. When they go out to do a job. I mean,
So
That's not
you're
the
saying
issue,
that they
you know.
entitled to the monies they've got so far? Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the guy working for his family, you know, and
Yeah.
look, there's about 8 or 10, 12 that wants to do anything like that. And they, oh, well, just a certain few. Well, that's right. But are you gonna have a guy that, you try to call at 2 in the morning and go get trees out or run the, scrapes and like say around Christmas? See, everybody's forgetting we had all this rain. We had 10 roads washed out. And they work 24 hours a day, and that, you know, that's overtime. These guys gotta be paid. And I signed the overtime tickets. So, and I agree that a man making $12, $13 an hour trying to feed a family of 2 or 3 kids, come on. I mean, you know, let's be.
Well, they wanna make it $7.75. That's what the wage only has to be. And now y'all up there saying, well, let's give them 12, 13. Why don't we
Well,
give them
when a guy's
25?
been with the county for, most of those guys that have been there 10, 12, 15 years, 20 years.
You know,
You know,
that's why
we give
the
it
county and the
to.
department.
Now listen, let me talk. Let me talk.
All right, as long as I get to say mine.
Well, you can say yours, but you let me talk. When a guy's been here and we add, give him a 2% raise, when a guy's been here 15 years, if he started out at $7.75, he's gonna be up $12, $13 an hour. We have operators out here that run scrapes on the road that are good guys. And I think the best one we got, I think makes $13.75 an hour, I believe. I can look and see. The guys running the tractors, with the arm reach on it, cleaning up the roads, cutting, you know, that piece of equipment and the responsibility to run that, the guy's, he's worth $13. $12.97, I believe, is what they make, if I remember right. But when they, like I say, those guys that's going out tonight to cut that tree out the road, they need to get paid.
They need to get equal time off unless y'all got it in the policy, some way or another, in writing. This ain't my first time talking construction. I worked over and worked 14, 16 hours a day getting electrical projects to come in on time. So I know what I'm talking about. Give them equal time off, or don't pay them $80,000. How much is the highest paid man get over there last year?
I don't know.
You do too, though.
No.
Yeah, you do.
I'd say it was Philip Collins since he's been here 40 years.
If you don't like the job you got, you can always go look for
I
another.
know that.
You know?
Or they'll quit you. Right?
Well, I'm not, just so everyone knows, I'm not in disagreement with what Chairman's talking about. If a person works overtime, they get overtime. Okay?
That's not the complaint.
Can I finish for
You may,
once,
you
for
may, but
once
don't,
without
but
being
at least
interrupted, please?
address the
Mr.
question.
Garner, please.
Address the
I
question.
mean, I get tired of being heckled by a few every time I go to speak when I don't interrupt anyone. I'm tired of being heckled. Please, let me speak.
Just answer the question, please.
Mr. Garner.
I tell you what.
The reason.
I'm still saying, I'm not
James,
speaking.
please. Let's take a 10-minute recess. Come back here. This is ridiculous. And we're not gonna tolerate it. Like I said, we respect this board of commission. We're gonna keep this meeting orderly. And that's what it's gonna be. Now, everybody blurting out, hollering this and hollering that. Let's talk. Say what you gotta say. With due respect to Commissioner Johnson, or me, or Commissioner Sullivan. Now, if we can proceed, we'll not go on no 10-minute recess. Now, I think I've told you about the overtime. I signed the overtime tickets. I say, these guys gotta get paid, and I'm all for it. So, anyway, that's all I've got on that now.
Well,
Yeah, Mark, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to clarify one thing, since an article that I had written was being referenced to. Not at all did I make mention or want to imply to make mention that overtime hours that were worked should not be paid. Those absolutely should be paid. What I tried to express in the article was that there did seem to be a number of hours being submitted as vacation hours that were being accounted for building to overtime hours. And it was being paid as overtime by using vacation hours to obtain that amount of time, which is not, does not appear legal in the state.
You're right. There was some of that going on. That is, don't take vacation hours anymore. At work, you to get a vacation, you gotta have 40 hours worth.
I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't taken as what I was right.
But that's over, that's
That
not
has
doing
been
that.
addressed, and that is over.
That's not happening now, you know.
This is being addressed as if it's going on now. And I think because last week or the week before, and what it's referencing to, because the last time I filled an open records request for Mr. Thompson was in March, which were records for December of 2015. There's been no records since then of overtime or time even requested, and it was for the December month.
Actually, it went all the way up to the end of February.
Maybe, okay, January, February then?
Yeah.
Okay, but when the overtime was discussed and being paid, it was in those December months, is from what I can remember. So it's not like it's been last week or last month, it was in December, January. Those were the months that you were discussing in your article, because that's the last time I refilled an open records request for you on that issue.
So when did it stop? When did that stop, then
And
practice?
I don't want to be speaking out of turn, because I don't do the payroll on a weekly basis, but the last time that I knew about it even happening was in maybe January. So that's.
So thank you, Mark, for
But that's-
covering that, because otherwise it might have kept on going from what it sounds like.
Who instructed you, Ms. Kirby, to continue paying?
The conversation that I had was in December, because there was an issue with an employee at the road department that was concerned that he didn't get his overtime, that he felt like he should have been paid. I went to the chairman and I went to Commissioner Sosby, and that was discussed, and they said that we're in a issue here where flooding is taking place. They were the ones that directed, actually myself and Renee, to move forward with it but to discontinue it. And I didn't get into that after that, because it was Renee handling payroll at that point. She had come to me, I had gone to them, and that's when it was discussed. And Commissioner Johnson is exactly right. He did look at me and he told me, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm never going to be okay with vacation hours to go towards overtime hours. He did tell me that, and that is, that was the conversation we had. I cannot give you exact dates because I don't know, but he was in my office, he did say that to me.
And so if I could finish that. Yeah, push back.
Go ahead.
I'm not in disagreement with the person who works overtime, they get paid for overtime. I'm not in disagreement with that at all. So I'm in complete agreement with him about that. My problem was using vacation and holiday time to accrue overtime. It's wrong and it shouldn't be done. Okay? That's exactly what I said. All right? That's exactly what I said. If someone works overtime, by all means, they have it. It's law that you have to pay them. But it's not law that they can use. And it's an issue I have with the department head, so you do know. But, here's the thing. I'm still trying to find out where it even came from in the beginning, how long ago it was that this was allowed to even happen. So I want everyone to know, I don't have a problem with anyone getting overtime, as long as they've already worked 40 hours. Okay? 41 hours, that's overtime. But you can't come in on a Thursday or a Friday, and you haven't worked all week, and use 20 hours vacation, 20 hours holiday, and so when you come in on Thursday, you're automatically on time and a half. I will never agree to that with anyone.
Agreed.
Straight time.
But see, so it is an issue that I'm still trying to find out. I think we're all still trying to find out when and how it kind of even got started and why it even took place anyway. And you're right, it is a department head issue because they turn in the time. And I think it's something they're going to have to answer to all three of us about. Okay, so that's my view, and I hope I've made it clear. Because when you say y'all, that includes all right? And I will never be in agreement with anything that is wrong. Okay? And I mean, you can say, well, what is it? I'm still trying to find out. So when I get finished, I'm sure you'll have an answer. But rest assured, I'm pretty sure it's not happening.
It's not, no, I mean, believe me, I'm very well versed on Fair Labor Standards Act, and I have marked up, I have went through it, and, it is not taking place any longer.
Anything else?
We still commissioner's commentary, I can't remember what that is. And we have a lot to think about. My commentary, I'll end it with this. We have a lot to think about with our SPOS. Very important, very, very important to our county. Just to reiterate that and emphasize how important SPOS is, I'm glad to see that we're, expanding our reach, and it just shows how much we are growing. That we have a lot different needs than we needed 4 years ago, much less 10 years ago. So we're actually, we have a lot different needs, and I hope everyone can see that, whether you agree with what's proposed or not. We have a lot different needs now than we did the last time SPOS was voted on.
True.
We've got a lot different issues than I would have imagined. 6 years is how it's been.
Well,
So,
next year will be 6 years.
so,
What we're doing here is running it a year ahead of time to where we won't miss anything. If it fails, we'll have time to do it again. Or vote on it again. You can't vote on it unless the year passes.
right. So, and along the way, we're gonna have struggles, we're gonna have disagreements, none of us are gonna see all the things the same way. But as a common goal, I want everyone that is involved, and the people who do take their time to come out and see what's happening, I want everyone to understand that this is a struggle for everyone. It's not just as easy of a decision as some might think it is. Because we're trying to represent everyone, and we're trying to definitely address the issues in which we feel like we're going to have in the next 6 years. So, and I appreciate the two of you, whether you think so or not, even if I do disagree with you. We've disagreed a lot in the past. I'm sure we'll disagree a lot in the future. Any of us will. I mean, I don't agree with anyone on anything 90% of the time. But it still don't mean we can work together and try and do things. But I do want you to understand that it didn't go unnoticed by anyone. I don't feel, but I myself am still trying to get to the bottom of how, when, where, to make sure it never happens again. Because if it's fair for that employee, it's fair for every employee that works for the county. That's how I feel about it. I don't think we can pick and choose who we like and don't like. I can't. I don't think any of us can. So therefore, it's got to be fair across the board. So that's all I have.
So, excuse me.
The only thing I've got to say is this personnel policy, like I mentioned a while ago, this needs to come into play along with what is going on there. We've got to address that, and a lot of changes to be made in the personnel policy as well. We're going to start that workshop tonight. We've got so much other stuff going on with SPOS and other things that we will get to that in the next meeting or two. But I can assure you that this has been taken care of, and they're not getting any overtime pay right now.
Associated with vacation.
Associated with vacation time, yes. Okay, that's all I've got.
And I think it is important for us. I mean, we're gonna have to have long talks with those architects, probably maybe at the next meeting, if you don't mind
They
notifying.
need to come in,
I would love for them to be here,
they need to come in.
because we need to make sure we understand. I don't care who, what, when, where, how they got taught that, it doesn't happen anymore. So, if you would make a note of that and have them here, it'd be great.
Next meeting.
Yeah,
Is it the
last
second meeting?
They should be here.
Okay,
anyway.
all right, well,
Yeah.
that'd be great. So everything worked out right.
Yeah.
Good.
We need executive session.
No.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Here a second.
Second.